to Culture on I-24 News. I'm Oded Grober. Thanks for joining me once again. Today on our program, Israeli graphic novelist Gilad Seliktar is already here in the studio. A group of artists in Batzra want to save art education in the city. And we'll hear about the Rumble in the Jungle Music Festival, which took place 40 years ago. Gilad Seliktar is an Israeli graphic novelist and illustrator. His book Farm 54, written with his sister Galit, was nominated for the 2009 Angoulême Book Award, and his latest book, Tsav, will be published in France on November 14th. I'm very happy to have Gilad in our studio. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
So let's start with the Tsav, the new book, which we should say the name translates, I guess, to it's the name of the order to draft people to reserve duty.
Yes, an emergency situation like that.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit about it.
It's a autobiographic story that happened in Operation Pillar in 2012.
Pillar of Defense.
Pillar of Defense.
The one before
the last one.
The last one, right?
And it's a little bit, it's not like it's happened in reality, but in the book I took the situation to somewhere else.
Okay.
In the book I'm going to give orders, Tsav 8, to soldier around the country. Citizen that was soldier, and in the journey I find something that bring me back to the army days.
Okay, to your army days.
Your army days,
right.
When I was a guard in the army. And it's something that happened in the book that if I tell it, it's a little bit like a spoiler.
We don't want spoilers,
yes.
But gives us a little bit of your experience, I guess, as an artist in the army.
As an artist in the army, I was as a guard. You can't do nothing but guarding. It's like it's your job, and I was always try to find a way to draw. And it was like my escape plan. And all I did all day, it was like drawing people. I draw people from the army.
Yeah.
And this is what it was like my way to show myself.
Yeah. Your way to maybe stay yourself, I guess, in a way.
Yes, but I was much younger then. And I think that it was like a shock to me, the army. You know, it's something. It's not something that. Yes, it's not what you think it is.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I was naive that I will be a graphic artist or something like that. And the reality took me to somewhere else.
Well, not very far from that. Now, as you mentioned, it was written initially following Pillar of Defense 2012, but it's published now after this turbulent summer that we had. Is that a coincidence, or with the summer you realized now's a good time to put it out?
Yes, it is. It was I working on the book for 5 years almost. It was like before Operation Pillar of Defense. I started to work on the story, and it was about my reserve.
Your reserve duty, right?
Reserve duty that it was not in the emergency, not in the emergency, and then in the operation it turns to something else. Something else changed in the story. It's suddenly it was like it's like war, you know.
It is.
You are in a war, and it took the story to somewhere else. And then I work on it for 3 years, and in the last war, I sat at home and work on the final pages. So
right on time.
From war to war.
Yeah. Now, weren't you worried about dealing with the army? You know, because as you know, in Israel, the army is a very touchy subject.
I'm talking. I'm not worried. I'm talking about myself. You know, it's something. If the army take you to, you are in the army, you are a soldier, but your story is your story.
And weren't you afraid to expose yourself that way?
It's always it's a little bit scary. I think it's something that in the middle of when I worked on the book, there was a times when I work on the, on the sensitive things about myself, that a little bit, I don't think that I was ashamed, but
it's personal.
It's very personal, and I think that maybe because it's now it's going to publish in France, nobody will understand it in Israel. But
so
when
it's still
for now, but
far enough.
Until the Hebrew edition.
Yeah. Now, as you said, publishing first in France. Why is that?
Because first in France there are a culture of a very rich culture of comics, and I have a publisher there that like my stories, and I have an audience there. That
you said it's a good. You already have an audience.
Yes, and you have somewhere to tell your story.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's important, if it's in France or somewhere else. I want to tell my story, and this is the way I'm going to tell it.
Yeah. Now, your previous book, which is also autobiographical, we should say, Farm 54, was written by your sister, and you did all of the artwork. Writing this one all by yourself, was that a...
Tsav 8.
Yeah.
It was very hard. You know, the Farm 54, my sister wrote the stories a few years before
Before you even got involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it was like you take in the text and do whatever you want. You know, I have the bless of Galit.
Right.
And I think we think alike about the way we want to tell our stories. And
this
time, it was very hard. I think that the text, the writing was very... it was like the hardest part.
Yeah.
But
well, I think the result is wonderful, Gilad. Thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about it.
Okay. Thank you.
Moving on. After more than a decade of fighting in Iraq, cultural and artistic education has nearly vanished from its schools. In Basra, a small group of artists decided to share their passion with the community and offer free art courses in public spaces. Sandy Fotis has more.
A group of Iraqi artists are doing their best to keep art in the public spheres alive. They are known as the Sumerian Group, and 4 of these artists are offering free courses in the streets of Basra.
The Sumerian Group was formed to promote the artistic spirit with families in Basra. We want to bring art to the streets of Basra, abolish sectarianism, and push children to drop their toy guns and come paint with us.
In recent weeks, the appointment has been taking place every Friday night in this public park. It is through advertisement and invitations on Facebook that the group has promoted this initiative, and so far the gatherings have had a good turnout.
We're just amateurs. The artist's skills is the opportunity for us to improve our technique.
Since the fall of Saddam Hussein in 2003, all art programs funded by the regime to glorify the nation and the cult of personality of its dictator have been removed. Art education is no longer relevant in Iraqi classrooms.
Here the children learn how to read and how to write. They learn science, math, Islamic religion, and the Arabic language, but not art. They don't know anything about art. I really want to convey art to them. The children are oppressed at home and at school. They either work or surf on the internet. Where's the art in that?
Beyond spending pleasant moments and sharing their passion, artists of the Sumerian Group and their students hope that this initiative will attract the attention of officials in Basra and encourage the authorities to open a structure for cultural education in the city.
Winter is coming, and it will soon be impossible for us to get together in the cold and under the rain. We really need schools where we can improve our techniques and develop our talent.
If the appeal may be heard, this will allow the people of Basra to join the long line of artists in the rich art history of the country.
Greek archaeologists have recently made a discovery which has been attracting major media attention: a large detailed floor mosaic in a mysterious ancient tomb in the northern Greek town of Amphipolis. Daniel Campos has the details.
For nearly 3,000 years, man has searched for the lost Ark of the Covenant.
Archaeology, the study of human activity in the past by recovering and analyzing material data. The profession has inspired action and adventure movies such as Indiana Jones and The Mummy, who enjoyed box office success. But is archaeology really that exciting as in these films? Today, the Amphipolis tomb is making headlines worldwide. It is estimated to have been built in the 4th century BC, around the reign of the great warrior Alexander the Great of the Macedonian kingdom. The entrance to the tomb is guarded by 2 marble sphinxes, while a mosaic covers the entire floor of the second chamber of the tomb and measures 3 by 4.5 meters. Made from colorful stones, it depicts a chariot being drawn by 2 white horses. Driven by a bearded man, the ancient Greek mythological god Hermes, portrayed as a psychopomp, a guide for the souls to the afterlife in ancient Greek times. Now the question remains over who the tomb belongs to. Most archaeologists believe a friend or family member of Alexander the Great is buried here. No mummies, no snakes, no enemy spears or evil spirits inside the tomb, just media gossip and speculation, and many long hours cataloging, photographing, and scanning. In the eyes of the skeptic, it is hard to understand why an average excavation that reveals no secrets become largely talked about in worldwide media. And yet there's no telling what precious information about the past this site may yield.
In a moment, we'll hear about the 1974 music festival planned to coincide with the famous Rumble in the Jungle fight. But first, our cultural recommendation of the day.
The Colors of Abstraction is the first major Paris retrospective of the work of Russian artist and textile designer Sonia Delaunay since 1967. A pioneer of abstract design, the display showcases Delaunay's passion for vivid colors. The artist has had an innovative and successful career in partnership with her husband, Robert Delaunay, who worked together since their marriage in 1912. In the works exhibited, color takes a prominent place. Delaunay replaces the subject, the depth, and the perspective by making use of engaging patterns. The retrospective, organized by the Museum of Modern Art of the City of Paris, offers more than 400 pieces by the Russian artist, work covering all eras and styles of Delaunay from her beginning in 1905 up to her 1970s paintings, wall hangings, watercolors, prints, fashion, and textiles. The Colors of Abstraction will be exhibited at the Museum of Modern Art of the City of Paris until February the 22nd of 2015.
And Daniel Campos is here. Welcome, Daniel. How are you?
Fine, Oded. Thank you for having me again.
What are we talking? We're talking about the Rumble in the Jungle, but not the fight.
Not the fight. Well, we're celebrating 40 years
We're
of
for
this
peace
event.
and love, not fighting.
Exactly. Well, this is a major sports event, and well, recently it's been talked about again because this event happened October the 30th. The big fight, Ali versus Foreman in Zaire, under the rule of ruthless dictator Mobutu Sese Seko.
Okay.
But the part that doesn't get, let's say, mainstream coverage.
I thought you were going to say Don King.
Don King. That was actually Don King's beginning of his career. He lied to both of the fighters. He told them, "I have money, come and fight in Zaire," and he didn't have the money. He was lucky to get the investors afterwards.
He gave the world a very memorable moment.
But I mean, on the cultural side, what this means, you know, African American musicians like James Brown also accompanied Muhammad Ali back to Zaire. A very important moment. Maybe we can have a listen to one of the songs from this amazing music festival, which took place a few weeks ahead before the fight. Excuse
All
me.
right, let's. The 70s were rocking.
Yeah, it's incredible. Well, you can see Mobutu, his trademark hat made out of leopard skin. It's a very interesting event. What can I tell you? The idea of Stuart Levine and Hugh Masekela, a famous South African trumpeter, was to bring also attract tourists from abroad. That's why they brought, again, a lot of popular musicians from America to perform here. But again, we can say it was sort of delayed because Foreman was injured. And then at the end, the festival took place ahead of time and for only locals, 80,000 Zaireans.
Wow.
And it was a great decision to say, okay, let's perform for the Africans, a show for our people in Africa. There was also a lot of racial elements in it. Like I said, the rhetoric against anti-colonialism on behalf of Ali, also James Brown.
We could
and
just hope that
Duncan.
maybe something similar would happen now, 40 years later. Daniel, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We're done for today. I hope you enjoyed watching our show and that you'll choose to join us again tomorrow. Until then, you can check out our website, i24news.tv. Bye-bye.